Okay, in this video, I'd like to continue with my story, the greatest story ever to be told. How I realized I was Neo in the Matrix, and also the MT in MTV. The MT stands for Mike Talaske's vision, because that's what this whole thing's about. So in my last video, I was showing you this, the 432 frequency. This is how much we've been fooled and misled. And this foolishness has just come to an end. I'm the one that glitched the Matrix, and it's not going back the other way. I'm the one that opened many doors around here, and it's not going back the other way. So this is my mission, is to get everybody back on 432. They switched our music scale from harmony to disharmony, because these are very dishonest people. And we're shining the true light on them, and they can't take it. They know they can't match it, so they're running and hiding right now as we speak. So they put our music scale at 440. If you put 440 on an oscilloscope, you're going to see an agitated wave on it. That's what the music has done to the people. It's put them in an agitated state of mind. So there's a way to shift it back, and that's what we're going to do. One way or another, it's going back to 432, and you can't change it. You can't change none of this stuff. You can't change anything that I've done to the Schumann resonance. And it's a fact. You can go look up what it's doing right now. It's all the collective consciousness, and we're changing the whole system. So you can either adapt or you can fall by the wayside. It's your choice. My choice is to rise everybody up. So I would like everybody to join with me. So in order to do this, we have to get the music scale switched back to the 432. I'm going to show you the significance of the 432 to me, because I didn't understand it until I actually built this place. I framed this whole place in by myself. I stood all the walls up and all the rafters by myself. I had help from my dad putting the sheeting and stuff on it to hand me the boards and stuff like that, and I had other help with this place, but I didn't know it. But when I built it, my square footage on here is 432, because I always do stuff 369 just like Tesla does it, and that's just the way it worked out. I didn't realize this until it was built, of what it actually meant. So we're going to get into this whole thing, and we're going to get into the synchronicities that I've had since my announcement of me being Neo in the Matrix and the MT in MTV. So let's get into it. Okay, this whole thing with the 432 is super significant. So what I'm telling you is that this building is very special, and I didn't realize it until I got it built and I started looking at this 432 number, because it kept popping up. So my building here is an astronomical encoder of the speed of light, the diameter of the moon, the tilt angle of the earth, and the 13 signs of the zodiac, which includes Ophiuchus, the hidden sign, because that's me. I'm the hidden sign, Neo. Okay, so 432 squared is the speed of light. You double 432, it's 864. This is the diameter of the sun. 432 backwards is 234. This is the tilt angle of the earth. Okay, the dimension of height represents the zodiac cycle. So I got 12 foot high on my walls, and I have a 1 foot rafterized, which equals 13. That's the 13 signs of the zodiac, including Ophiuchus. Okay, so this whole 432 thing is what I'm telling you how and why I'm this number 23. That is not the red 23, it's the black 23. Okay, so when you reverse 23, you get 32. Okay, so when you take my birth time, this is where you get the 4, because I was born at 10:03 a.m. So in numerology, you add all the numbers up and then you get them down to 1 digit. So the number 4 signifies time. It's the only digit that is missing from the Fibonacci sequence. So in the first 2 digits in the Fibonacci, you got 1, 1. Okay, then it goes 2, 3, 5, 8, so on and so forth. So you're just adding 1 and 1 to get 2, 2 and 3 to get 5, so on and so forth. So this whole thing is basically been encoded, because when I started looking at the whole sequence of the Fibonacci, lo and behold, I find my home phone number to my parents' house when I was a kid, 3379. So that's like the number for ET to phone home, basically. So, like I said before, I was born in Alpena, Michigan. Okay, Alpena, Michigan is the 45th parallel. Born at 10:03, so there's where you get the 4. 1979 is my birthday. I was born in 1979, so my birthday matches the year, which adds to 3. So when you take my first name, my middle name, and my last name, and break it all down, it all equates to 1, because I'm the 1, Neo in the Matrix. So then when you take my address, it does the same thing, it goes to 3. So that would be the 13. When you flip it, that's like the Ophiuchus, the hidden sign in the zodiac. So when the U.S. corporation, basically, that everybody is an employee of, if you have a United States birth certificate, so basically you're a slave to the system if you got one of those. They made their move on the 13th of January, 1 week after my announcement that I'm Neo in the Matrix. So this whole thing is just wild, because what's going on here is they parked their representation of their ship, meaning the USS Arthur M. Anderson, or their Mr. Anderson, which has ties to the U.S. Steel Corporation, because this guy was vice president, and he also had ties to J.P. Morgan, which was Tesla's rival, who was giving Tesla funding for his Wardenclyffe Tower and then pulled it when he figured out Tesla was going to give the world free power. Okay, so this also represents the old 45 king, the T-Man. So I'm the new T-Man, okay, Mike T. And they were just showing this move, which they announced at 9 o'clock, because I'm the 9, in the morning on the radio. So the chances of me hearing this thing was just unreal. or else I would have never even known that they made this move with this ship. So they pulled it completely in line with where my 432 spaceship is, basically on land here. And it's completely the opposite, directly across the state. But their stuff represents the water, or maritime admiralty, which is the law that they operate under, the land of the sea, the land of water. But my ship is on land because I represent the common man and ground and the earth. But it's all one and the same thing. Because no matter what I say here with any of these people, I don't hate anyone. I just want everyone on the same team. And that's what I'm trying to do here with this whole thing, is get everybody in harmonic resonance with each other so that we can change this place, and it will happen. Okay, so let's get into this whole thing on the this is on January 11th. You had this alignment take place. This is coming from Stefan Burns, who knows my story here and is following. He's an excellent geophysicist, and his stuff with the Schumann resonance is unreal. So check out Stefan Burns. He is showing this whole thing play out in real time with his scientific data. This is not a joke, it's happening. We're making the shift and you can see it in real time. And with all this activity that the sun is doing. So there's a lot of different things going on because they're also manipulating the ELF. So there's a whole lot of factors going on. So what's happened basically is on January 11th of 2024, there's a planetary alignment that occurred. So what's happened with, like, the last 20 years, Pluto has been in my sign for Capricorn, and it's been basically just a black cloud that's been hanging over the Earth, because it was super close to the Earth, and all these planets have all this impact on us. So it's recently moved out. So Pluto is like chaos moving out of the system, and we're going back into order. Okay, so it's just funny how things play out. I got my first dirt bike here when I was 11, and it had number 11 on it because I was always wanting to be like Isaiah Thomas from the Detroit Pistons, and he wore number 11. He was always my favorite player when I was first starting watching basketball. So I got this bike in 1990, and those were the plates. The number 11 was on the number plates when I got it. Okay, so when I drew this alignment and I put this picture over it, it was just wild because that front tire, it fits right on the sun. And this is basically the alignment that we had take place on the 11th. So it looks like a big 9, basically. And then if you put my numbers to it, you got the 9/11. So this is highly significant of what's going to happen later in my life on 9/11. And what I was actually doing for work was building basically a tower out of concrete and steel in Cherokee, North Carolina, on the Indian reservation. So what you're seeing here is the sun, the moon, the earth in this alignment, and then you have Uranus, Jupiter, Mars, and Cease at the bottom. Okay, the Cease is funny because that's how you would measure the engine in a dirt bike, CCs. Okay, so you had this whole thing do this alignment with this 9. So the 9 is me because the 9 is the 9's outside of time. It's timeless. To where in 10 everything is complete. So I'm trying to turn everything up to 11. So here we go. This is what has taken place in the whole story is when I started to get into all this stuff with Tesla, with the pyramids, with the free energy. I always had the music in the background. I was always working on music, doing music. I still haven't put out a full album. I've only been on one song that's been published, but this is where it started. I was making music here in our hunting camp, and this was around 2008 when this happened. So I was one night standing out here, and this place doesn't have any full-time electricity running to it. So I was always trying to figure out ways to do this whole thing to get electricity without having to run a generator or without any power lines. So it was always in the back of my mind. And the Philadelphia experiment was always in the back of my mind, and the music was always in the back of my mind or right in my mind at the time. So what had happened is basically I was standing out here and I got pretty fired up, and I started to basically crank energy into the field. And I was trying to open up a portal to allow all these things that I wanted to happen to be manifest, to make my music manifest and to make it better for humanity through free energy. So I showed this in my other video with the magnetism between your hands, to where basically I was caught in a huge release of energy in Asheville, North Carolina, when a power line transformer blew out right next to my apartment, and I was standing outside and I got caught up in the blast. And then when I came back to Michigan, I figured out that I'm basically magnetized. So my hands are magnetized from this blast, and I can affect the field in the area when I put energy into it, like a capacitor, and then release it. So basically what I was trying to do after reading all about basically the dark side is what people would call it, with Jack Parsons and Crowley and L. Ron Hubbard and Babylon working and the whole deal. What happened is I was trying to bring some kind of help for the people on Earth by doing all this. So this is what happened is I was doing this and trying to open this portal just by myself, not with any kind of outside things like a pyramid or a Ouija board or anything like that. It was just completely me. So what had happened was I had released this energy and I felt I caused a shift. So I was standing here looking at this area here, above the camp. And it was at nighttime, and basically I was transfixed because I saw this whole movie scene play out here. And this is before I had gotten with these two ex-girlfriends of mine, that I had saw this whole thing play out with this whole scene, with everything. It didn't last that long, maybe less than 5 minutes, but I couldn't make sense of it all. And fast forward to today, I understand exactly what it was. So I was given this vision of two girls that I would meet in the future, and possibly a third, and that my music was gonna do something. Okay, so let's continue. This is a video from the 1980s, and I knew the song from before, from listening to it on the radio when I was a kid. This video kept popping up in my feed once in a while, and so I finally watched it. Well, when I watched this video, it really sent me reeling a little bit, because this video showed exactly what I'd seen in this vision above the camp. And I couldn't believe it, that so many things matched up in this video, but there was one thing that I didn't understand, was this Roman soldier in the video. So I'm gonna break this whole thing down, but this is where we're going with this thing. Is the Roman soldier is me. And it's this whole mirror thing. So we're gonna get into this whole thing, but once I show you, this story is just gonna be undeniable. Okay, so this is what had happened. Okay, after I announced basically on the 13th that I was the MT in MTV, and this is the same day that they made the move with Arthur M. Anderson into Little Traverse Bay, and I didn't figure that out until Monday the 15th, when I got up and heard the news at 9 o'clock. And the first words out of their mouth on the radio was Tesla, because they were giving away the band Tesla tickets on the radio, and then they played the whole Arthur M. Anderson thing. So there's no coincidences, there's only consciousness in this whole thing. Okay, so here is what appeared in my feeds. The very next day, after I figured this whole thing with the MTV out. Okay, so it's called the Kick of Destiny 2. So there was like the first kick the week before with the Neo and the Matrix, when I figured that out. The second kick was that I figured out I was the MT in MTV. So the next thing in my feed was the Minnow Pond Tarot. My friend here, Chris, that's his channel, and he's basically a Capricorn just like me, because he has so much of the same alignments. He knows my story, so he's been doing my readings for the last couple years at least, and he's always spot on. And the next thing that came up was a Hard Truths podcast with Ashton Forbes. He's another person that knows my whole story with the MH370 investigation, and he knows what's going on. Okay, so these are my friends on YouTube. Okay, so here's the date that I'm showing you. This is on, so this is the 14th. One day after my announcement that I'm the MT in MTV. So I was waiting for another confirmation. After they did that whole thing with the Arthur M. Anderson, I was waiting for something else from high on up to roll my way through synchronicity or magic or telepathy or something. Okay, so I get a tarot reading from Chris, as I always watch his weekly readings to see what the energy is going to do so that I can work with the energy. I don't do tarot for love readings. I just do it for the energy to see what I have to work with. Because that's all it is. It's just a guide. It's like a weather forecast. So he did my reading on Monday here, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I couldn't believe it because when he did my reading, he was talking about me finding a divine counterpart. And I never do this whole thing for anything other than to use it as a guide for what the energy is doing. But he kept talking about this. And I thought that was really weird. So I've always felt connected super closely to Kim Kardashian. And he kept talking about somebody that was either watching you as a secret admirer on your YouTube, or if you have some kind of social media or whatever. So all this stuff was kind of really ringing true. And I was like, that's really weird. So I decided to look up what Kim Kardashian's sign was. So I wanted to find her birthday. So I just typed in Kim Kardashian, as you can see, and this is what popped up. It's an article that has Kim Kardashian shaded in her famous Birkins for a new Hermes handbag. So I was like, that's really weird. Why does it say Hermes in there? I thought it was really strange because I had just announced that I also was Thoth, the Atlantean from the Emerald Tablets, or the Builder. So I decided to click on this article because it was just really weird. So you can see it there, and it comes from a thing called Gracia USA, and that's what it also caught my eye because I was like, that looks like the spelling for Giza almost, like the Giza pyramid. So I'm like, that's really weird. So this is the article from GraciaMagazine.com. And this is what you see that first pops up. And I was like, this looks really weird. So you see this icon, and it's got this airplane, and then it's got this whole thing with this mirror. Well, if you look at it kind of like how the United States is, this is where I would be up in Michigan, where the airplane is. This would be in California. So I was like, this looks really weird. So you can move this icon here, you can move it and scroll it up and down the page because it says book a flight. So it's like really weird. So this whole thing moves. So I was like, is this some kind of weird message? So what I did was I pulled that icon down to the picture of Kim that they're showing here, where she's holding this Hermes bag. Okay, so this was the first picture that pops up. It's Kim in this white outfit, this like this goddess type outfit. Okay, so when you scroll down, you'll see Kim in this second picture. And if you look at the picture, it's exactly how I put my phone in my window, looking at my sliding glass door with my blinds open. She has the complete opposite setup in her picture. She has a door wall that's a sliding door that's closed. She has her couch on the opposite side of me. She's got her stack of notebooks. She's dressed up in some kind of outfit looking like Trinity from the Matrix with a black top, stripped down accessories, one black watch just like I wear that I keep at 9 o'clock with no battery in it because I'm the 9. Everything revolves around me. I'm the controller of the cause. So Kim has ditched all her other bags. She's gone down to one bag. It means she's simplifying. She's also wearing a set of carpenter jeans, just like I wear, because 33 is the builder. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, he will come. So this was completely a directed message. But the weird thing is the timing of it. This whole thing came out in exactly the same hour that my tarot reading done by Chris Middlepine came out at the same time when I saw it. It was 8 hours old. So both of these things were 8 hours old. So they were within the same hour. Okay. So that was all pretty mind-blowing. That was on Monday the 15th, January. Okay, so fast forward to Friday the 19th. I needed a different truck because I sold my truck. It was an '09 Chevy Silverado. I went to look at a 2013, just like the Illuminati, just like the hidden sign Ophiuchus 13. 2013 Chevy truck that this girl had in Sheboygan. Sheboygan's the next city up from me. So I went to look at this truck, and the most awesome thing happened when I met the owner. She was looking for the title of the truck in her house and she couldn't find it. So I kept talking to her and I started telling her about my YouTube page, and she said that she liked science, and we started talking about the frequencies in the Mackinac Bridge. So she gave me a pen to write down the name of my YouTube channel. So she was standing like 10, 12 feet away and she couldn't see me writing. As soon as I wrote down the word Tesla on the paper, she said Tesla. Right out of her mouth was the first thing she said, Tesla. She likes Nikola Tesla. And she started talking about all the frequencies and stuff. So as soon as I wrote that down, I flashed it to her and showed it to her, and she couldn't believe it. So we kept talking. And I basically told her what had happened since all this stuff on the 6th and on the 7th of January with me being Neo in the Matrix and the MT and MTV. Well, then I started telling her the whole thing about Kim K. Okay. With Kim K is the deal that when you slide this thing down, this whole icon from the top of the page, and you put it into Kim's hand, she's actually holding a mirror. She's mirroring this whole image back at whoever's supposed to receive it, which is supposed to be me, because those two people in the white robe is what I had saw at the end of the vision when I saw the whole thing play out over the top of my parents' hunting camp. So if you look at the thing now, it makes sense because I'm in Michigan, she's in California, and there's this whole thing with Florida. So it's completely wild. So I tell this whole story to this girl who I'm gonna buy this truck from, and she couldn't believe it. So at the end of our conversation, she finally found the title and everything. And I said, yeah, I just turned 45 and I was born in 1979, and my day of birth, 1979, matches the year 1979. It's like a mirror. The next thing she said was, I'm born in 1979 too. And I said, well, what's your birthday? And she said she was born on the 21st. And I said, no way. I said, Kim Kardashian is born on the 21st. I said, can you please show me some form of proof like your birth certificate or something, because nobody's gonna believe this. So she went and got her birth certificate just to show me that she's born October 21st, 1979, and she wasn't joking. And I'm not joking with any of this stuff either. It's completely real. Thanks for watching. Please follow my story. We're going to keep going on this whole thing. Stay tuned.